Today our topic is how to stay consistent even when you don't feel like it. Consistency is one of the most important things in life if you want to achieve your goals, but it's also one of the hardest. Why? Because life is full of ups and downs, and there are days when you just don't feel like doing what you know you should do. Maybe you're tired, maybe you're bored, or maybe you're just not in the mood. But here is the truth. Success doesn't come from doing things only when you feel like it. It comes from doing them even when you don't. So, how do you stay consistent when motivation is low? Let's talk about it. First, let's understand why consistency matters. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the small daily actions that add up over time. Think about it. If you want to get stronger, you don't just go to the gym once and expect to see results. You have to go regularly, even on days when you don't feel like it. The same goes for learning a new skill, building a business, or improving your relationships. Consistency is what turns effort into progress. But staying consistent is hard because it requires discipline, and discipline is not something that comes naturally to most of us. It's something we have to build over time. So how do you build discipline and stay consistent? One of the best ways is to focus on your habits. Habits are the small automatic actions we do every day without thinking too much about them. If you can turn the actions you need to take into habits, it becomes much easier to stay consistent. For example, if you want to exercise regularly, don't just rely on motivation. Instead, create a habit by doing it at the same time every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Over time, it will become a part of your routine, and you won't have to think about it as much. The key is to start small. If you try to do too much too soon, you'll burn out. But if you start with something manageable, it's easier to stick with it. Another important thing is to focus on your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's the bigger purpose behind it? When you have a strong reason, it's easier to stay consistent, even on hard days. For example, if you're studying for an exam, don't just think about the exam itself. Think about how passing it will help you achieve your long-term goals, like getting the job you want or making your family proud. When you connect your daily actions to a bigger purpose, it gives you a sense of meaning and makes it easier to keep going. But what about those days when you really don't feel like it? That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what you know you should do, even when you don't want to. And the good news is, discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. One way to build discipline is to practice doing hard things, even when they're small. For example, if you don't feel like cleaning your room, do it anyway. If you don't feel like waking up early, do it anyway. These small acts of discipline add up over time and make it easier to stay consistent in bigger areas of your life. Another helpful strategy is to break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. Sometimes we feel overwhelmed because we're thinking about everything we need to do all at once. But if you break it down into smaller steps, it becomes less intimidating. For example, if you want to write a book, don't think about writing the whole book at once. Just focus on writing 1 page a day. Or if you want to run a marathon, start by running a few minutes a day and gradually increase your time. When you focus on small, achievable steps, it's easier to stay consistent because you're not overwhelmed by the big picture. It's also important to be kind to yourself. Nobody is perfect, and there will be days when you slip up. Maybe you miss a workout or you don't stick to your plan. That's okay. What matters is that you don't give up. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about getting back on track when you fall off. So, if you have a bad day, don't beat yourself up. Just remind yourself that tomorrow is a new day, and you can start again. Another thing that can help you stay consistent is to track your progress. When you see how far you've come, it can be really motivating. For example, if you're trying to save money, keep a record of how much you've saved each month. Or if you're trying to get in shape, Take photos or measurements to see how your body is changing over time. Seeing progress, even if it's small, can give you the motivation to keep going, even on days when you don't feel like it. One more thing to keep in mind is that motivation often comes after action, not before. A lot of people wait until they feel motivated to start something, but the truth is, motivation often shows up after you've already started. For example, you might not feel like going to the gym, but once you're there and you start moving, you might find that you actually enjoy it. So, don't wait for motivation to come to you. Take the first step and the motivation will often follow. Finally, let's talk about the role of mindset. Your mindset plays a huge role in your ability to stay consistent. If you believe that you're someone who gives up easily, you're more likely to give up. But if you believe that you're someone who sticks to things, even when they're hard, you're more likely to stay consistent. So, work on building a mindset of resilience and determination. Remind yourself that challenges are a normal part of the process, and that you have the strength to overcome them. In conclusion, staying consistent even when you don't feel like it is one of the most important skills you can develop. It's not easy, but it's worth it. By focusing on your habits, your why, and your mindset, you can build the discipline you need to keep going, even on hard days. Remember, success isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. So, take it one step at a time, be kind to yourself, and keep moving forward. You've got this.